1:29 in the morning. A ship the length of 3 football fields was no longer steering itself anywhere on purpose.
This bridge had carried traffic since 1977. Nothing about it looked like a structure carrying a hidden number. The report runs to hundreds of pages. The cause fits in one hand. 20 months of investigation, not to find who was driving, to find what a single wire was doing at 1:24 a.m. 984 feet, longer than 3 football fields laid end to end, and briefly steering nowhere. Baltimore Harbor, one of the busiest ports on the East Coast. Nothing about this departure was unusual. Yet, a 2.37-mile steel truss bridge opened in 1977, 47 years old on the night that mattered. A ship didn't just hit a pier. It hit a pier nobody had ever formally measured against a ship this size. Within minutes, dispatchers had already stopped traffic at both ends. That decision, made in seconds, saved lives. The National Transportation Safety Board. 20 months, one question. What actually happened in the seconds before impact? This is the diagram. A wire, a plastic label, and a clamp gate that never fully closed around it. Drivers crossed this deck for 47 years without knowing what number the piers underneath were actually carrying. 34,000 vehicles crossed here every day, 10% of them trucks. Nobody drives across a bridge wondering about pier geometry. The guidance that could have flagged this risk arrived in 1991. The bridge had already been standing for 14 years. Everything from here is what a single loose connection was actually capable of, given 47 years to matter. Case file open. Subject: one wire, one label, and every system that failed to catch it in time. Terminal Block 381, deep inside the ship's electrical control center. This is where the sequence actually begins. A label meant to identify the wire, wrapped in the wrong place. It kept the wire from ever fully seating in its clamp. Investigators noted this kind of loose connection is detectable with thermal scanning equipment. It wasn't part of routine maintenance. Investigators traced every branch of the ship's power system. One breaker, one connection kept coming back into focus. 1:24 a.m. The loose connection let go completely. A breaker opened that was never supposed to open on its own. Every large ship has a backup, an emergency generator built to catch exactly this kind of failure in seconds. The generator's radiator damper has its own switch, one that tells the system whether it's actually open. That switch didn't report in time. The generator is designed to connect within seconds. This one took 70. To reconstruct exactly what happened, investigators pulled the ship's own recorded data, second by second. 70 seconds without propulsion or steering, this close to a bridge, is not a delay. It's the whole outcome. This is what an inadequate connection looks like from the inside. It took one improperly placed label. It took 1 second to fail. The first blackout ended. Power came back. It didn't stay back. Crew members had been using that flushing pump to supply fuel to the generators. It was never built to restore pressure on its own. The bridge's calculated risk of catastrophic collapse from a vessel strike was almost 30 times the accepted threshold. 30 times. After an earlier blackout in port, the crew had left the high-voltage breakers in manual mode. On the night that mattered, that setting slowed everything down. Propulsion gone, steering gone. The pilots tried everything available to them. None of it was available anymore. Without steering, the ship's heading swung toward Pier 17 and passed directly between two structures built to protect it. The fender system was concrete, timber, and steel, sized for the ships of an earlier decade, not for this one. None of this was visible from the water. That's what made this bridge's risk invisible to everyone who ever crossed it. 1:29 a.m., 5 minutes after the first blackout, the ship's bow reached Pier 17. The pier was never rated to withstand a force this size. Almost nothing built before 1991 was. Once the pier gave way, the truss above it had nothing left holding its weight in place. Pier, then deck, then truss. In under a minute, a structure that had stood for 47 years was gone. 7 road workers were on that deck, filling potholes. 6 of them did not survive. That's the mechanism. 7 separate points, each one survivable alone. None of them alone. All of them that night. The mechanism explains the ship. It doesn't explain why the bridge itself was never checked. That part isn't electrical. Case File, Part 2. Subject: the 33 years between a guideline and a bridge that was never checked against it. In 1980, a ship struck the Sunshine Skyway Bridge in Florida. 35 people died. The industry responded. Eventually. You've driven over a bridge like this one. You didn't check whether its piers had ever been rated against ship traffic. Nobody does. 1991. AASHTO issues formal guidance. Measure your bridge's risk against ship traffic. This bridge predated the guidance by 14 years. The guidance didn't just cover new bridges. It told owners of older ones exactly what to go back and check. 1991. The guidance existed. 2024. The bridge fell. In between, no vulnerability assessment was ever conducted. The Maryland Transportation Authority owned and maintained the bridge for its entire life. The assessment was never requested and never run. NTSB requested the specific data needed to run the calculation: vessel traffic, transit speeds, pier capacity. The authority didn't have it. After the final report, the authority's public statement placed the collapse's fault entirely on the ship's owners and operators. Both things are part of the record. The ship's crew caused the blackout. The bridge's risk was never measured. The file holds both. NTSB didn't stop at one bridge. They asked, how many others share the exact same gap? This wasn't one uniquely careless authority. It was one ordinary bridge that fell before a nationwide gap became visible. 68 bridges, 19 states, built before the same guidance, never assessed against it. Some of them you already know by name. The evening before, this deck looked exactly like every other evening in 47 years. Nothing above the surface had changed. Just after midnight, the Dali left port. Nothing in its departure looked unusual either. March 26, 2024. An ordinary transit on an ordinary night. On a bridge nobody had ever measured against its sub. By 1:29, there was no decision left to make, only physics and a margin that had never been calculated. The heading swung. The dolphins didn't catch it. The pier had nowhere else to send the load. This is the reconstruction, built from the physical evidence. Pier, deck, truss, in under a minute. 7 road workers were filling potholes that night. The file doesn't need to show what happened next. The record already does. At 1:29 a.m., a bridge that had stood for 47 years was gone in under a minute. 6 lives with it. By morning, the investigation that built this file had already begun. 20 months later, it named the gap precisely. The decision trail is documented, dated, and closed. The bridge's part in this story ended that night. The channel is open again. The question the file leaves open isn't about this bridge, it's about the other 68. Case File, Part 3. What the record changed, and what, 68 times over, it hasn't yet. If you cross a large waterway bridge built before the early 1990s, this file is quietly about that bridge too. NTSB sent letters to 30 bridge owners. Every one of them responded. Assessment work is now underway, bridge by bridge. The new bridge will use pylon protection fenders built to current AASHTO specifications. That gap will not be repeated on this crossing. The replacement is projected near $5 billion, open by 2030. One unmeasured risk, priced retroactively. Here's what you now understand permanently. A risk that is never measured doesn't disappear. It just waits to be discovered the hard way. Somewhere right now, an engineer is running that exact calculation for the first time because of a file that started with 6 names. This bridge's file is closed. Most of the other 67 are still mid-assessment, right now as this is being read. It won't announce itself with a warning sign. It never does, until someone runs the number and files it away. This file didn't find a villain. It found a gap between a guideline that existed and a calculation that never ran. Somewhere, there's a bridge like this one, still waiting on a calculation. The only open question is when someone runs it. That's the file, not a warning, a record for whoever runs the number next. The investigation is closed. The bridge is gone. The gap it exposed is not unique to it. A closed investigation, not a closed risk. 67 of these calculations are still being run.